What is going on, guys? The Inside the Move podcast, and today we have our Week 11 picks. Getting right into it. Before we do, though, a lot of stuff happened. Jared Goff throws 5 interceptions, finds a way to win a football game. Giants lose in Germany. Eagles completely destroy the Dallas Cowboys, and the Dallas Cowboys are a very bad team this year. And yeah, Joe Burrow has a really good game and still finds his ways to lose, unfortunately. But let's get right into it. Let's talk about the first game on the Thursday night slate. 7-2 Birds taking on the Washington Commanders. And if you told me at the start of the year that this would be a meaningful football game for the Washington Commanders, I don't know if I believe you. 7-3 start. Jaden Daniels has looked very good. Definitely an MVP candidate. And with Jalen Hurts, it's kind of hard not to have this type of season with the team you have in front of you. You got Saquon Barkley in the backfield, you have a good offensive line, and you got two of the best wide receivers in the league. You probably have a top 3 wide receiver 2 in Devontae Smith. And overall, I just think the Eagles are going to be too much. I think Saquon's going to be too much. I think that as good as Washington has been, they're going to fall down to earth a little bit. And we're going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. And getting into our next game, the Jets. The Jets are 3-7. And it's been a horrific season for the Aaron Rodgers experiment. Robert Saleh's been fired. We don't know what is going on. They get Javonte Adams and they still can't win football games. The Jets have a QB issue with Aaron Rodgers. And the problem with Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers wants to run things his way. Not Joe Douglas way. Not before the Robert Saleh way. Not the Jeff Ulbrich, whatever his name is. It's the Aaron Rodgers way. But he's taking on Joe Flacco. And listen, I have said in the past that I do not like taking the Jets. And at home, the Jets are taking on the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts have not been good, but it pains me. It honestly, for me, this game is do the Jets really go 3-8? And I've said it time and time again that I'm going to stop picking them, but we're going to take them. Final time. I'm going to say it right now. This might be the final time we take the Jets. And only because Indianapolis has also a QB issue, and they're overall not a great football team. I think the Jets' defense has not looked great since they have departed with Robert Saleh. But I think if there's a game that Aaron Rodgers can somewhat play good, it's against the Indianapolis Colts. Getting into our next game, a divisional matchup with the NFC North. The Bears have been cold. They were 4-2. Now they're 4-5, and they're taking on a good Green Bay team. And we're going to have our first team on the away slate. Green Bay going into Chicago and getting a win. Another NFC North team, the Detroit Lions, man. 9-1 start. I don't think the Jags are going to make it that close. Let's hold our horse there with that. But yeah, 9-1 start for the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff did not play good at all against the Houston Texans, and he found a way to win. And that's the Detroit Lions. They're a really good football team. Dan Campbell has gotten those guys riled up, and they've been really good. Next game, the Las Vegas Raiders, who are pitiful. They don't have a quarterback, whether it's Aiden O'Connell or it's Gardner Minshew. It's a train wreck. And for the Miami Dolphins, they just beat the Rams in a good game. In a good game overall. Tyreek Hill had a touchdown. And listen, I think if Tua is healthy, they could win this football game. Tua and Tyreek are a good wide receiver duo. And Devon Achane is a very, very good running back. Las Vegas Raiders have nothing to play for, and they're in tank mode. They want to get Shedeur Sanders. I think there's a real chance they get him. And Miami, I guess, improves to 4-6. Next slate of games, LA Rams losing a tough one to the Miami Dolphins. They're the better team in this spot. I don't like the New England Patriots. I have been wrong against them many times. But if the Rams want a shot at the playoffs, and I think there's a real chance if I find the standings after, if we go over that after. The Rams have a real shot because the NFC West is open. Seattle's not making the playoffs. Arizona's a quietly fun team to watch. And the 49ers just got CMC back. Getting into our next game, the Saints taking on the Cleveland Browns. What an awful matchup. Is this going to go into our worst game of the week? Potentially? I think it's definitely a real case, but I think the Saints get it done at home. And I honestly agree with this. I don't think a lot of points are going to be scored. Maybe the Saints start to win some football games, but the Cleveland Browns, man, so bad. Nothing to play for in Cleveland. They're just having another one of those years that it is just hard to watch. Nothing good at the QB spot. Nothing good in any sort of way. This might be the game of the week, besides the game in Buffalo against the Kansas City Chiefs. The three best games are the Washington game on Thursday, the Baltimore game in Pittsburgh, and the Kansas City game in Buffalo. Those are probably going to be the three hardest games to predict. 7-3 Baltimore Ravens. They've been playing really good. Lamar is going to win the MVP again. I'm pretty confident in that pick. He's been looking awesome. But let's not forget that Pittsburgh's 7-2. Pittsburgh's 7-2. And this is going to be a tough game to predict. Now, if I'm not mistaken, pretty sure these guys play each other twice. I don't think they've had a meeting yet. So, I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens here. And mainly because Lamar Jackson is a real problem for the NFL. And in a good way. He's a really good QB. He's definitely a QB that can get you to the playoffs. But they got to get over that hump, man. They got to get over that AFC Championship hump. If there's a team to beat, if there's a team that can beat the Chiefs, it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens or the Buffalo Bills. Hint, hint. Getting into our next game, pretty easy decision here. It's the Vikings. We've bet against the Vikings a lot. They're not going to be a real problem in the NFC. I think we've accepted that. They've fallen down to earth. Sam Darnold has fallen back down to earth. And, I mean, just they played a really bad game against a Jags team who has no business of keeping that game close, in my opinion. The Jags stink. I don't think they're a good football team in any sort of way. But let's get into our next slate of games and the final slate of games. We have a few more after, actually. Let's pull those up, too, while we're at it. Okay. Bo Nix nearly beat the Chiefs. They lost by a blocked field goal. I got a lot of confidence in Sean Payton and this Broncos defense and this offense. And we're going to take him we're going to take him at home against the Atlanta Falcons. Both teams are now 6-5. Atlanta, I believe, it's at two straight losses for them now because they lost to the Saints last week. So yeah, 2 straight losses, unfortunate. Broncos are a surprising team as well, man. They have a chance to make the playoffs. Folks. Bo Nix has looked good enough. He's probably been the second best rookie quarterback, I'd say. Maybe Drake May, but 6-5 record for Bo Nix. Kind of revived the culture and the funness in Broncos country. But they're gonna move to 6-5. San Francisco, they just got CMC back, and he had a good week in fantasy terms. Seattle's done. Seattle is done. I'll say it now. They lose too many games that they should win. They're playing on the road. San Fran's a fun team now with CMC back. It's tough. It's tough to be a Seattle Seahawks fan right now because if I'm not mistaken, they were 4-2. I think they were actually leading the division at a point because all the other three teams were playing like hot garbage. The Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen has looked like an MVP candidate. When Stephon Diggs left, they thought the offense was going to die. They thought the Buffalo Bills were going to be that 8-win team, that 8 to maybe 9-win high ceiling. Now they're looking like a team that could win 11 football games. And if there is one thing that I have learned, it's to not to bet against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs are such a good football team. They're 9-0, but they've also been bailed out by the refs a lot. It seems like Roger Goodell is trying to make KC like that New England Patriots dynasty team. Like, there are just some calls that just go Mahomes' favor. If you're not a Kansas City Chiefs fan, you probably hate their guts. And we're going to take the Buffalo Bills. Because let's ride with the Buffalo Bills. Why not? No more undefeated teams. We took down the Vikings' undefeated streak. Now it's time for me to break the ice and let's make Kansas City go 9-1. That would feel awesome. To see Buffalo defeat the Kansas City Chiefs. Now we got an interesting game here. Joe Burrow has looked very good this year. And it's so unfortunate for the record he has. 4-6 is not Joe Burrow. That's the defense. And that's probably a mix of Zach Taylor too. John Harbaugh has revived the LA Chargers. With a wide receiver core that probably didn't have the highest hopes. Quentin Johnson coming off a terrible year. Joshua Palmer's okay. But they draft Ladd McConkey. They got a good enough offensive line. Justin Herbert's starting to click again. And we're going to take him. We're going to take him again. Joe Burrow's going to have a great game. Justin Herbert's going to have a great game. But we're going to have them go into 7-3. And our final game of the week. How about them Cowboys? How about them? They've been terrible. They've been awful. Dak Prescott's done for the year after getting $60 million per season. CeeDee Lamb can't fight the sky, the ceiling. The sun is in his eyes. Thanks, Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is slowly destroying this franchise of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Dallas does do this. Like, they have 3 good seasons in a row. Then they have this piss-poor season. But if you look at their roster and how much of a percentage Dak Prescott's making for the franchise salary cap, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons still needs a payday. Where is the other money going to go? Assuming Parsons get, that $33 million a year, like the Nick Bosa type deal. Or the TJ Watt, Myles Garrett type deal. Dallas is in a big funk. They're going to be paying 3 players like it's like the NBA. Like, these 3 guys are going to try and take us to a Super Bowl. Granted, they can't even win a playoff game alone. It's quite sickening. And it's the Battle of Texas. And we're going to change up this score just a tad bit. Okay, we're going to go 24-17. Houston gets a big win. Dallas is in contention for a top pick in the NFL draft. Tough look for Dallas, man. I can't even say I feel bad for them because I am a Giants fan, and it does bring me happiness to see them struggle. But, man, oh, man. What a tough scene. What a tough scene for Dallas. But that's going to do it for our NFL picks. Really solid stuff from everybody. Stay tuned for the Thursday night football game. That's going to be a really good football game. I'm taking the Jets. And listen, they failed me. They failed me in Arizona. They're probably going to fail me again. And it pains me to take him. It really does. But, like, the Indianapolis Colts are just as bad. Sauce Gardner has not looked good, in my opinion. Breece Hall, drafted him super high in fantasy. He's been alright. Garrett Wilson's been fun. They need a new QB. We're probably gonna have a mock draft soon. Maybe we'll take a quarterback for them. Stay tuned for that mock draft. Stay tuned for more NFL content. But that's me, your host, Vin, from the Inside the Booth podcast, signing off. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.